Hey everyone.
Good day,
Good day, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, today is the 4th of June 2021. So, how are you, class? I hope you are all doing great amidst our situation. So, let's begin. So, today we are going to discuss about many, much, a lot of, and lots of, plenty of, and a great deal of. But before we proceed, we have here some pictures. All right. Mhm. What do we have here, Joshua? Will you name them?
Okay, ma'am. We have coffee, cat, doctor, chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
water, doctor, time, money, rice,
Mm-hmm.
books, and then patient.
A patient. All right. Very good. So we have here these objects, or yeah, these objects are what we call nouns. So we are going to talk about two types of noun first before we proceed to our main topic. So the two types of nouns are the countable and the uncountable nouns. When we say countable meaning to count, these are the nouns that can be counted by numbers. Whereas when we say uncountable, we have here the prefix "un", which means not countable. These are the nouns that cannot be counted by numbers. So I have clipped here the pictures of the nouns that we have mentioned earlier. Now, I want you to identify or classify them into their specific types. Will you classify them, Chen? Let us start first with the countable nouns. What do you think
Yes, ma'am.
here are the countable nouns? All right.
Um, let's start with cat,
Cat,
um, chocolate,
chocolate,
books,
books,
doctor,
doctor,
and patient.
patient. So what about the uncountable nouns?
And as well as money. It's a countable
As
now.
well as alright. What about the uncountable nouns?
Um, coffee,
Coffee,
time,
time,
water,
water,
and rice.
rice. All right. Do you have the same answer, Joshua?
Except the money. I think it's accountable nouns.
Mm, that's all.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let's see if you got the all the answers correct. So the countable nouns are the uncountable is coffee. You are right there. Cat is countable noun. Water is uncountable. Doctor is countable. Time is uncountable. Rice is uncountable. You are also correct about that. Patient is countable. Correct. Money, you are right there, Joshua. That is uncountable. So, ma'am, what do we classify money as uncountable? If we are just going to talk about money itself, it is considered uncountable. But if we are going to talk about the currency, for example, peso or dollar, it is we can classify them into the countable nouns. Or to make money as a countable noun, we can use the quantifier or the expression a sum of money to make it countable. Books, you are also correct about that. It is countable. And chocolate. is uncountable. Mom, why is chocolate uncountable? So if we are going to talk about the candy itself as a chocolate, the pieces of candy, we can say we can classify them as countable. But the picture here is a bar of chocolate. So it is considered as uncountable. So now, I have here some sentences. So we use the nouns that we have mentioned earlier to create these sentences. Now, in specifying the nouns or the countable nouns as and the uncountable nouns, we usually uh, talk about how to quantify them. How are we going to tell its quantity or its amount? So in specifying this, we usually tell if there's actually singular or plural. When we say it is singular, we use a or on before the noun to make it singular. Or if it is plural, we add s or es. Or sometimes we tell the quantity by its number. For instance, we are asked about how many apples did we eat yesterday. We could probably say that we ate an apple, or we ate two apples, or three apples. We determine or we say its quantity by telling the number. But there is also another way of determining the quantity or the amount of an object or a noun. So we use quantifiers. Ma'am, what are quantifiers? So quantifiers are words or phrases that determine the quantity or the amount of an object. So let us observe these sentences. Will you read them, Chen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Read all the sentences.
Okay. I don't have many books to read.
Mm-hmm.
How many cats do you have?
All right.
How much how much coffee do you drink every day?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have that much rice left.
Next.
A lot of patients are admitted in the hospitals. Have you eaten lots of chocolate?
All right.
Plenty of doctors are exhausted.
Last two.
Drink plenty of water every day.
Mm-hmm.
A great deal of money is needed for the vaccination.
All right. Thank you, Chen. Now, Joshua, identify the quantifiers that used in the sentences.
All, ma'am. All
All
quantifiers.
right. All quantifiers that we used here in the sentences.
The first
Remember,
one,
all right. Remember, quantifiers are what we use to tell the quantity of the nouns. So,
okay.
all right.
For number one, we have many.
All right.
Number two, how many cats do you have? I think many.
Mm. All right.
The third example, how much coffee do you drink every day? Much.
Mm-hmm. All right.
We don't have that much rice left. Much.
Very good.
A lot of patients are admitted in the hospital. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of.
All right.
Have you eaten lots of chocolate? Chocolate. Lots of.
Very good.
Plenty of doctors are exhausted. Plenty of.
All right.
Drink plenty of water every day. Plenty of.
Very good.
A great deal of
Last
money
one.
is needed for the vaccination. A great deal of.
Excellent. You have got it all right. So, the quantifiers that we use in the sentences are many, much, a lot of, lots of, plenty of, and a great deal of. So now, what are the nouns that we use with these quantifiers? For many, we use books and cats. For much, we use coffee and rice. And for a lot of, we use patience. And lots of is chocolate. For plenty of, we use water and doctors. And last, for a great deal of, we use money. So, with these sentences, what can you infer now that we already talked about what is quantifier and the types of noun that is used to determine the quantifiers that we are going to use? So, for these sentences, what which type of noun do you think is used with many, Chen? So we already talked about the two types of noun, the
Yes,
countable
ma'am.
and uncountable. So for many, we use what?
Countable noun.
Yeah, very good. Many is used with countable nouns. It is only used with countable nouns. So as we look here in the sentence, books and cats, we classify them into countable nouns because we can count them into by numbers. And as you can see all here in the sentences, many is used in question. We use the expression how many to make it a question. And then we use it into a negative statement. We use here don't with the contraction of do not. With the presence of not, we can say that it is a negative statement. Next, for these sentences, uh, Joshua, which type of noun is used with much?
Uncountable nouns.
Very good. We classify earlier coffee and rice as uncountable. So we can therefore include that. I conclude that much is only used with uncountable nouns. Same as with many, much is also only used with questions and negative statements. Remember that we usually got it wrong and using uh, many and much in two sentences. So next is a lot of and okay. A lot a lot of and lots of. A lot of. So what can you conclude here in the sentences? In the sentences, which type of noun do we use with a lot of, Chen?
We use countable noun.
Right. And Joshua, do you have the same answer?
I think, ma'am, both countable and uncountable nouns.
Very good. A lot of is both used with countable and uncountable nouns. So we can also use lots of with as a as a alternative for a lot of, for they both mean the same. So they are both lot of and lots of is both used with countable and uncountable nouns. So as we can see here in the sentences, it is also used in positive statements. And a lot of and lots of is considered informal. So if you are going to consider using a lot of and lots of in our written or in writing, please do remember that these quantifiers are informal. So we have here plenty of. So what can we therefore conclude? with the use of plenty of? Which type of noun do we use with this quantifier, Joshua?
I think, ma'am, countable nouns.
Countable. How about the other sentence? Water. Is it countable or uncountable?
Uncountable.
All right. Therefore, we can conclude that plenty of can be used with both countable and uncountable nouns. Same as with a lot of and plenty of. This quantifier can be used with positive statements, and it is also informal. So for the last quantifier that we are going to discuss for today is a great deal of. Which type of noun do we use with a great deal of? Chen?
We use uncountable nouns.
All right. Money is uncountable. So therefore, we can conclude that a great deal of can be used with uncountable nouns. So these quantifiers can only also be used with positives, but different at this compared with a lots of, and plenty of, a great deal of is formal. All right. So I have prepared here some exercises. So choose which of them do you think is appropriate to use here in the sentence? So will you try to answer it, Joshua?
Um, there are blank COVID-19
Okay.
patients in the hospital. I think there are plenty of COVID-19 patients in the hospital.
What alternative? Plenty of is correct for patients is countable nouns. So what other quantifiers do you think is appropriate to use for this sentence, Chen? Aside from plenty of.
Yes, ma'am. And I see that lots of fits for it very well. There are lots of COVID-19 patients in the hospital,
Very good.
and
Lots of.
as well as many.
Very good. So you answered many, lots of, and plenty of. Because many, a lot of, and plenty of can be used with countable nouns. So next here, I don't have blank money. So you answer first here, Chen.
I think it's much.
Much. Very good. For money, so we classify earlier money as
Mhm.
uncountable. And
Yes, ma'am. And
much
a
is
lot
used with.
with
All right. Very good.
yes, ma'am. And lastly, a great deal of.
Very good. Those are the quantifiers that can be used with uncountable nouns. Next, Joshua, will you answer this sentence? What type of quantifier?
Okay, ma'am. She has blank clothes for the summer. She has a
All
great
right.
deal of clothes for the summer.
Very good. So clothes here is considered as a mass noun. So mass nouns are considered also as uncountable nouns. So we we can use here a great deal of as a quantifier. So we can also use here plenty of. For plenty of can be used with both uncountable and countable. We can also use also a lot of and lots of, or we can use these quantifiers with also both countable and countable. Okay, I think this is the last sentence. Chen,
Yes, ma'am.
all right.
Okay. Joe exerted a lot of effort and lots of.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But I'm looking for that one answer that can also be used with the noun effort. By the way, effort is also considered as a verb, but in
yes,
this
ma'am.
sentence we use this as a noun.
And
What do you think? Effort, what to which type of noun uh is effort classified or included?
I think it's an uncountable noun.
All right. So, what other quantifiers can we use here, Joshua?
I
Aside from a lot of and plenty of.
Joy exerted much effort for the exam,
And
a great deal of. You
a
exerted a great
great deal
deal of.
of. Very good. It seems that you are getting the topic right. Oh, we have here. I think this is the last and the last. Okay, Joshua.
Okay, ma'am.
Jane spends blank money at the shops. Okay.
Jane spends much money at the shops.
Okay. Aside from much is
Mm,
also correct. For money is
I think
uncountable.
Jane spends plenty of money at the shops.
Mm-hmm. We
Mm,
can also use here a great deal of or a lot of or lots of. Very good. I have a last. So I'm going to answer this. I have blank work to do. We can also use here plenty of or lots of. Work is also a verb, but we used work here as a noun. So work is classified as a uncountable noun. So we can also use here a great deal of. I have a great deal work to do. Very good. Do you have any more questions? Clarifications?
None, ma'am.
All right. Mhm. So I want you for our last exercise. I want you to uh to form or create some sentences using the quantifiers that we have uh discussed for today's lesson. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to complete this exercise. By the way, I hope that you can create 3 sentences each for each person. All right. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes, and afterwards you will recite the sentences, and then we will check if the use of the quantifiers are all correct. All right, the 3 minutes starts now. So for our reference, I have clipped here the sample sentences that we discussed earlier. 2 minutes more. I mean, last 2 minutes. 1 minute. 30 seconds. Are you guys ready? Are you
Yes, ma'am.
all right? So who wants to recite their sentences first?
Me po.
All right. What is your first sentence?
Okay, number one, I have lots of schoolwork left.
I have a lot of
I have I have lots of schoolwork.
lots of. All right.
And number two, we should
Lots.
number two, we should exert much effort and time in fighting the pandemic.
Again, Chan?
Number two, we should exert much effort and time in fighting the
Wish
pandemic.
much effort in time.
And
I'm sorry. I think my signal is bluffing. All right. Let us just recite first, and then let us analyze your sentence and what do you think can be the alternative for this quantifiers that you use per sentences. So for the first sentence, you have mentioned earlier that I have lots of school works left. So for
yes,
lots of, what can be the alternative?
we have um, many,
Mm-hmm.
a lot
And
of,
then, mm-hmm.
and plenty of.
All right. So you have mentioned earlier many, but works is considered uncountable. And
Oh,
as we have mentioned earlier, many is only used with what? What type of noun?
countable nouns.
Countable nouns. Okay. We can also use here a great deal of for works is a uncountable noun. For the next sentence,
Um, we should exert much effort and time in fighting the pandemic.
all right. What can be the alternative for this? Do you think? What do you think can be
Uh,
the alternative for this sentence?
we can also use a lot of or lots of and a great deal of.
All right. For your last sentence,
Okay, so for the last, I've seen plenty of dolphins at the ocean park.
very good. For dolphin, for the quantifiers, what alternative can be used?
We can use many, a lot of,
Mm-hmm.
or lots of, and plenty of.
Excellent, Chen. Now for Joshua's turn. The floor is yours now.
Okay,
Joshua.
ma'am. John doesn't have much money.
Very good. What can be the alternative?
Much, many, or a lot of.
Money is what? What type of noun is many?
Mm,
What type of noun is money?
uncountable noun.
Uncountable. Therefore, we can only use much,
Mm,
not many. All right.
okay.
For
For number two, there is a lot of gold in the bag.
very good. What can be the alternative?
A plenty of.
Plenty of, not a plenty of. Plenty of.
Oh,
All right. What
mhm.
another?
I have a great deal of information.
Very good. A great deal of is used with
Sure.
information For information is what type of noun?
Uncountable nouns.
Uncountable. So what can be the other quantifiers that can be used with information?
Plenty of. Much.
Very and
Many.
plenty of
Of.
men. Information is uncountable.
Mm.
So we can say that much. It's also nice. It's also great that you have remembered that much and many is used can be also used with negative statements. So very good class. But to sum it off, for us to determine which quantifier to use, we have to know first if the noun is countable or uncountable. For yes, many is used with only countable nouns, and much is can be used with uncountable. So with lots of, and plenty of, we can use both use them with countable and uncountable. But with a great deal of, it can only be used a with uncountable nouns. So, do you have further questions or anything that you want to clarify before we end this session?
Not so far.
All
None.
right. I hope you learned something for our lesson, for our today's class. And that sums up for our lesson for today. I hope you learned a lot and see you again next time and God bless.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.